Hello, hello. So this video is going to be aimed at developers who already have some experience using coding tools like Claude Code, Codex, and Cursor. I made this tool. It's called Bridge Commander. I'm going to talk about it. But before I want to explain a little bit about the history and the motivation behind it. So like many developers working uh, with AI to help code, I also been in a search for like the ideal workflow and the ideal tools to make building software with AI more productive, right? Uh, uh, I think I have this belief that finding the right tools can help you implement the good practices that make you more productive. So I'm constantly watching YouTube, finding, testing new tools. And I, about a month ago, maybe 2 weeks, I'm not sure, I came across this video by this guy called Kun Chen. And in this video, he presents his tools, in particular, a tool called firstmate. And my God, I was blown away. So Kun went deep and showed all his tools, in particular, a tool called firstmate. So uh, before firstmate, in his video, he shows also two other tools that are Treehouse, which is a tool to manage Git work trees, and No Mistakes, which is a second tool that kind of implements a validation pipeline for pull requests inside Claude Code. So when you use No Mistakes, Claude Code is forced to verify its own work, and then the pull request that comes out on the other side has a much higher quality for you to review. So I watched the video and I learned. I was like pausing and testing the first tool, Treehouse, and the second tool, No Mistakes. And then at the end, he showed firstmate. And the thing that he really uses is firstmate. And firstmate is the kind of agent orchestrator that uses those tools, right? So Treehouse and No Mistakes are not for me to use, it's for firstmate to use. So if I would have skipped to the end of the video and just learned how to use firstmate, that would have been enough. So yeah, so what is firstmate? It's a tool on top of Claude Code that implements a pattern of interaction with coding agents that the industry calls chief of staff, right? So really simple explanation here. This is the normal flow, right? Micromanaging. You open one Claude Code session and you give a job for the agent to do. The agent is going to take a while to come back with a result. So while you wait, you start another coding agent and give another one, and then you maybe start another one, and then the first one comes up with a question or it's interrupted by anything, by something, and you're constantly micromanaging the executor, the implementer agents individually, right? And this other pattern here, it's what we call chief of staff. So instead of micromanaging individual worker agents, you talk to one agent that can talk to the other agents, and you work on a higher level of abstraction, right? With this manager here, this chief of staff. And then this guy here, it's an agent that can dispatch different agents, that can sometimes unblock some of those agents without having to bug you, right? Without having to interrupt you. So it's a step up in the, I guess, abstraction layer ladder that you can work with. So firstmate works on top of tmux, and I think I should show how tmux works, because not every developer is familiar with it. So I'm going to do that. But by all means, go follow Kun Chen. This is his firstmate repo here, and I highly recommend it to take a look. And yeah, I'm a big fan. So Admiral Khan, if you're watching this, God bless you. Keep up the good work. So in the tool that I built, I'm stealing, reusing both his ideas, right, that firstmate has here in Bridge Commander, but also some of his tools, in particular Treehouse and No Mistakes themselves. So let me first show tmux. So let me start a terminal here. 1 second. Terminal. So maybe I should make this bigger. Right? So tmux is this command line tool that allows you to create these long-lived terminal sessions, right? So I'm gonna do tmux ls, so there is no session running. So I'm gonna do tmux new dash, I think it's dash s, session 1. So this starts a new session, right? And from here, I can do like ls, right? And I can, so this creates a session. I can start a new one, or a new window inside the session. So I'm gonna do Control B and then C for create. So in tmux, you give commands to tmux always with Control B. So it's always Control B and something. So you can see down here that it created this second window here, right? So here I'm gonna run htop. There's no htop. I'm gonna run top, right? And then I get top running on this second window, and I can do Control B and then 1, and I'm back at the first window. And then I can do Control B, D for detach, and I'm closed, I'm out of tmux, right? So I can close this, I close the terminal, but if I start it again, and I do, let me make this bigger, tmux ls. So now there's session 1. I can do I can have more than one session, right? I could do tmux new dash s, I don't know, money. So this is a new session, and then Control B S. It shows the sessions that are active. So I'm gonna jump to session 1, and here Control B 2. There's top running, Control B 1, right? So it's useful to leave a terminal session persistent as long as your computer is on, right? So if you have, so I can start Cloud Code sessions in here and leave them running, right? And that is what firstmate does, right? What firstmate does is when you start a session with this agent here, this is a Cloud Code session running in a tmux session, right? And then when it wants to create like these executor agents, Cloud Code is able to drive tmux. So it will start a new window, start a new Cloud session there, right? And as you use firstmate, you can see the new windows being created and destroyed, and you can switch into those and see the workers working there if you want, right? So tmux is the underlying place where firstmate uses these types of agents, and because Cloud Code knows how to drive tmux, this is how your chief of staff is able to talk and command these this worker agents, right? So yes, working with this pattern is a real step up in productivity. It's a real unlock for you as a developer to work in a more higher abstraction level, right? But then working with firstmate in this way, the next bottleneck, it reveals itself like immediately. And the bottleneck is chat is not, at least for me, it's not the ideal interface to be talking to your chief of staff. I get this brilliant subordinate that is able to delegate a bunch of work. So I start delegating like 1, 2, 3, 10 things. And I can only remember the last two, right? And I lose visibility of what's in flight. So I need to either scroll up, scroll back in the chat history, or ask the chief of staff, hey, give me a status of all the things that are in flight, right? So what's going on again? Because I can't hold all that context in my head. So I think the solution is you need a way to visualize what's in flight, right? And the canonical way to visualize work in progress is a Kanban board. So that takes me back to Bridge Commander, right? Which is the tool that I built. So this is Bridge Commander. Bridge Commander is an AI assistant Kanban board that implements the chief of staff pattern. And this board is not a report about the work. This board is how you command the work. This board is a shared workspace for you to work with your chief of staff agent, or in this case, they are called lieutenants. Under the hood, it uses Kun Chen's treehouse and no mistakes, right? But then you can talk to your chief of staff, to your lieutenant, and it will create these cards so that for the work to represent the work that is being done, and it will update the board automatically. You can act on the cards, you can filter and do more stuff with it. You can chat in the context of these cards. So so it reuses both tools and ideas that exist in the firstmate tool that Kun Chen did. So now I'm going to show you how to get started with it. It's super easy, I hope. So let's dive into it. Okay, so let's get started. I'm here on the Bridge Commander README. So here's the installation instructions. So first we need to install Kun Chen's treehouse and no mistakes, right? So tmux session paste. Let's install treehouse. It's installed. And let's install no mistakes. No mistakes is installed. And now the next step would be to add the Bridge Commander. So Bridge Commander is a skill for Claude Code or Codex. And this is the way that you would normally install, but I'm going to do something different because I want to be able to have the repo cloned in here and use Bridge Commander to improve Bridge Commander, right? So instead of adding with npx skills like this, I'm going to clone the repo, so, and add the skill manually into Claude Code, right? So this is the URL, and here I am in my home directory. So I'm going to do git clone Bridge Commander, right? So here in Bridge Commander, there's a skillmd file. So this repo is the skill. So I'm going to cd into .claude cd skills, and I'm going to create a symlink here, right? I already have some skills that are symlinks, so I'm going to create a symlink here pointing to that place. So it's what's my user path again? Okay, so ln-s users Tony bridge commander, which is where I cloned it, and then the skill is bridge commander, right? So the skill is installed, right? And this process here would be the equivalent of adding the skill like this, right? And then next step is create an empty folder which will hold the state for your chief of staff. So here I'm suggesting my fleet, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to my home directory, create a folder, my fleet. So it's an empty folder, and in here I will start Claude Code, right? Now, you have to do it in tmux, right? Because bridge commander will drive will talk to your lieutenant, or rather your lieutenant will teleport itself into bridge commander UI, but then it needs to be in tmux so that this orchestration of agents can work, right? So let's start a Claude session here. It can also be codex. Full screen render. Nah, that's fine. And then bridge commander, right? Which is the next instruction here. So I'm gonna just invoke the skill. It's asking for permissions. I'm going to do Shift Tab, put it in auto mode. Oh, okay. So it's asking what's the lieutenant name. Interesting. Let's how about Spock? Okay, amaze. Workspace initialized, board is live at localhost 4780. So here we go, 4780, and here we are, and we can talk to Spock. Hey Spock. All right, yeah, so Spock already teleported into the bridge commander UI. So let's start to play and learn a little bit of what we can do with this. So let's start adding projects to it, like GitHub repositories, so that we can use it to work on those repositories. Now, the first one that I want to add is bridge commander itself, right? So I'm going to use voice to text here. Okay, Spock. So I guess the first thing we need to do is to add repositories, right? And the first repository I want to add is the bridge commander repository itself. I think there's a skill that we added that points to an actual folder, which is the repository. So can you find that and add that as a project for us to work on? So while it does that, let me actually go to GitHub and find another repository that I want to add. So I'm gonna go to GitHub /Tony Lampada /edu apps. That is the other repository I want to add. And it's just some HTML with some games for kids, right? And this is deployed on GitHub pages. So that would be lampada.github.io.edu apps, and it's I have an autistic kid, and this is a educational game to teach math, right? And
Duas maçãs mais uma. Quantas no total?
so
Olha de novo. Isso mesmo, 3.
right, so it's
Duas flores mais uma.
yeah, and the idea is that we can use it to add like another type of game like that. So let me copy. Okay, found it. The bridge commander skill resolves to real git repo at blah 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 blah. Amazing. So so worker was okay. So it's copying to another folder. When decision for added, the delivery mode, use no mistakes or direct PR, local only. You know what? I don't want a different folder. I want you to work directly on the live bridge commander because I want to make changes to the live application that we are running. Can you do that? Because it's the default behavior is to clone the project into a separate folder inside that my fleet folder, but I don't want to do that with this because I want to make changes and see it reflect live here. So let's see if it can do that. And as it's doing that, we can see on the terminal the Claude session that's running, and we can also click here and see like peek at the Claude code. We cannot type in here, it's just read only, but it's a convenient way to look at what's going on inside those agents. So yeah. Okay, one important caveat about how would be modified the very harness. Two things: worker never added a checkout in place. It's not isolated work tree. All its clones, blah blah blah. Real go change reaching live. It's very achievable. It's already on GitHub. Register as a project. Workers building isolated work trees. Open PRs. You merge. Then a git pull. Yeah. No, I want complete YOLO mode. You can turn off no mistakes for Bridge Commander. This is just a demo. And if I need to merge the PRs, that's fine. You know what? I don't want to merge PRs. I just want to work locally. Help me out here. Okay, so while it's doing that, let me show you how you can create another lieutenant. So I'm gonna go here, add a lieutenant, and well, this one's called Spock. So this one's going to be called, I don't know, Zorg. How about this, Zorg? And I can pick like a color. It's going to be yellow, and I can give it an avatar. So yeah, you look like Zorg. This guy here. Oh, you know what? This creates like I created another one with Claude, right? And what it did is here on my tmux, it created another session. So that's Zorg's Claude code session. I can create another one, another lieutenant with codex. I already have codex installed and ready to go. And we're gonna call this hex. It's going to be white. and it's going to be this bot here. Yeah, and this is going to be a codex. So I have these 3 lieutenants. How about we give Spock an avatar? Appearance. I have a guy with
Done. YOLO mode. Wired straight to the live repo. No clone. No PRs. No GitHub. Bridge commander local only users tone.
Sorry, I had speech enabled here, right? You can enable speech here. Where were we? So, okay, YOLO mode, wire straight to the live repo, no clones. Yeah, this is what I wanted, right? But, and now we have 3 lieutenants with different colors, right? So the cards that they create are gonna have different colors. It keeps like easy, and we can give them like different themes to work on, right? And we can see here on tmux, Control B S, we have Zorg, and we have Hex, right? And this is Codex. You can see on the UI that it's different from Claude Code, right? And we can pick at each and any of them. Okay, so YOLO mode, bridge commander, local only. Each car's worker gets its own isolated work tree. YOLO from becoming chaos. When a worker finishes, I merge straight into the live repos main locally. That's fine. Fantastic. So the idea here is that we work with the lieutenants in kind of plan mode, right? Create some cards to be worked on, and then we tell the lieutenants to start working on them. Now, before I do that, I want to add this other repo here. So I'm gonna continue talking to Spock here. I'm gonna say, fantastic, thank you, Spock. Now, I have another project that I want to add. It's on GitHub. So this one, you can do it by the book. So you can clone it from GitHub and enable the no mistakes pipeline. And yeah, let's add it to our list of projects as well. And this is the repo. It's going to add it there. By the way, we can create cards here. The cards have owners. Test card, and it has these 3 types. Blah blah blah. It's all optional, and we can create a card in here, right? And when we select a card, so the card belongs to a lieutenant, and you can talk to the lieutenant that owns the card in the context of the card, right? The lieutenant knows that you're talking to it in respect to this card. If I click here, I go back to the main chat with the lieutenant. Okay, while Spock is working on that, on adding that project, let me talk a little bit about security. So, hey, I noticed that I'm running this web application, and I can basically give you commands to control my computer. So anyone that can connect to this web servers can command my computer without any authentication. How does that work?
Both done. Bridge commander local only users Tony bridge commander in place.
Okay, let me actually turn off this thing. And okay, both done. Bridge commander local only. edu apps clone from here. edu apps by the book. Workers built in isolated work trees. Run the validation pipeline. Open a PR to GitHub, and you merge. Blah blah blah. Also saw the test card you dropped in backlog. I read that as a board smoke test. Want me to kill it? Shall return to real first task. Both repos are live in the board. The board's drain command is currently getting blocked by Cloud Code's permission classifier on my end. My auto wake up. I'm reading your message straight from the QE. Wait, we're getting blocked. Let me see what he's actually talking about. Okay, so maybe this is some permissions that I need to get right. So I think it's still going to work. Okay, so let's start actually working on this thing, right? Okay, amazing. Now let's talk about features, right? Oh, before I do that, let me show you one thing. So we have these slash commands here, right? And one of them is slash status. It shows me the model, the effort, this information about the context window and other stuff. Now, if I want to change the model in that conversation, I would have to go to the terminal and type slash model in here, right? And I can change the modeling in tmux, but ideally I would like to have the feature right from Bridge Commander to change the model. So let's create a card for that and have a worker implement that feature for us. So in Bridge Commander, I noticed that we have some slash commands in the chat, and I can see which model it's running, but I don't see a way to change the model. So I was thinking maybe we could have a card to implement a feature to do like slash model, and then it gives me an autocomplete with the available models, and then I select one, hit enter, and then that will cause the harness to change the model in tmux. Is that something that we can do in Bridge Commander? So I asked that to this Cloud session, to this lieutenant. While it thinks about that, I'm gonna go to Hex. I'm gonna say, hello Hex. There is a new project in there called EDU apps. Do you see that? Okay, and let's go back to Zorg and see what it has to say about our security question. Good instinct to ask, here's the real model. Yeah, so notifications are flowing. No auth exists, so be careful with this if you're running this in the network. If you run it like this, there's no token, no password anywhere. The board API is wide open to anyone who can reach the port. There is a network bind, not off. So you can only, by default, you can only access this from localhost, right? So this the server that's running this will only accept connections from your computer, but you can change this. Anyone who can connect really means any program already running on your Mac, right? So it's listening on this localhost IP, not 000, which would be open to all the internet. So you can configure it to accept a different network binding address if you want to run this on a different server and give you access to access from another computer, right? So you would get this web interface through that, but you need to be careful because there's no authentication. So you need to make sure that you set this up in a way that only you can access, because this will get access to run commands on your computer. You've been warned. Okay, what else? I see a newly registered project, EDU Apps. Yeah, this is what I said. No mistakes. Yeah, okay. Amazing. So that project is a simple web application with uh, one simple game for kids where the kid needs to add numbers, and I want you to create a card to add like a new game. So, and you know, I'm speaking to you in English, but I want you to create the card in Portuguese, and because that program is really for Brazilian audience, so anything done there needs to be done in Portuguese. And I'm thinking we can do like a similar game to the one that already exists, but instead of asking the kid to sum numbers, we are going to show a picture, like for example, a house or a dog, right? And then ask. House starts with, well, house in Portuguese is casa, right? So we will start with C, and then you give it some letters, and then the kid needs to drag the right letter into the spot so that the kid gets a correct answer, right? And just like the math game, we want the audio feedback, asking the question to the kid about what is the first letter of the word that is being shown in the screen, and pick maybe 20, 30 different words, right, with simple pictures or emojis to do that. So you can create that card and start working on it. Sorry, that was a big prompt. But let's see what GPT what? What GPT? 5.5 is going to do with this. And we have answers. Okay, so Spock here, very doable, and most of it already exists. I scoped it. So yes, Spock created a card, give it the whole spec, and started a worker that is doing the work. This is a different tmux session that's already running in our terminal here. And this is the tmux session of the worker that is running with this card here, right? And we can peek at it from here. And here's the card from the Hex Lieutenant. And we can see that this one is white and the other is blue because that's the color of the lieutenants. And this is the spec of the game. Jogo da primeira letra, adicionar, EDU apps, blah, 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 blah. And it's starting, so let's see what happens. Now we wait. So yeah, so Hex is now replying to me in Portuguese. So the game is in EDU apps with a worker active in this branch. The brief asks for a new kid game in Portuguese where the kid sees a picture or emoji, listen to the question about the starting letter, and then drags the correct letter, receives the feedback, and plays with 20 to 30 simple words. So it's basically repeating back to me what I said to it in Portuguese. We just have to wait. What else can I show? So let me show what's in the my fleet folder. We do like open a new window, go to cd my fleet, so it's not empty anymore. It has agents MD, captain MD, right? Was all created by the bridge commander skill, basically. And so you're going to want to commit this to a Git repository, right? This is the, I guess, the save state of the board. And yeah, let me open this on Sublime. Agents MD, some rules, right? You need to read captain MD. This is information about the captain. That is me or you who's running the project, right? It has a folder for it to store learnings about the projects that it works with. Here's the projects that it's working. So it doesn't have the bridge commander because we told it to work directly with the live repo, but the ed webs is here, and all the state of the board lives here. This is a big JSON file with all the information that we see here. So this is all that's going on under the hood, and that's super transparent in this empty folder that we started here. So yeah. All tests passing.
Quase. Escuta de novo.
Oh, I think we are hearing the result of the agent testing the game in its browser. And the game is speaking Portuguese, and that's what we are hearing. I think that's what's happening. This feels like black magic, doesn't it? And anyway, I think this is the ideal type of environment to really work with this chief of staff interaction mode, right? Because you get the chat with your chiefs of staffs, multiples of them, but you also get to visualize the work that is being done, right? And this is like the board is like a game board of a game that you play together with your lieutenants. In this world where we operate in a higher abstraction level, right? That we are, I guess, more managers than implementers. This type of UI is the thing that can put in a flow state for a management environment, I guess. Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, the main lieutenant chat responding is built in your view column. I read the actual diff. Say landed, I now merge it. Landed for sure. So now the edu apps is running the no mistakes pipeline. Landed live. So I guess it's going to stop the bridge commander and then start it again. So the agent is getting trouble with permissions to run the commands that allow it to talk to the board. Okay, one manual step needed on your end. It needs a restart to serve, and that's the snag. Cloud Code's permission classifier is blocked.
Elefante começa com qual letra?
Elefante começa com E. Cloud Code's permission classifier is blocking my restart. You run the restart from my prompt, or add a bash allow rule for BC, XE, and ideally in this repo. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to do this from the tmux because what I
Muito
see
bem. E de elefante.
So, hey Spock, I'm here on the tmux session because I need you to give yourself the permissions that you need here, and you can edit the permission files on .claude something in this repo so that you don't hit.
Muito bem. O de uva.
Maybe I shouldn't have asked for a game that talks out loud. That's funny. Okay, I allowed it. Permission's working now. Dun, 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 dun. Let's go back to the board. Refresh. Slash model. Look at that. Status. Are you gonna get more luck with the edu card? We'll see. What is this model ZZZ? Where does that came from? Verified. Oh, so it did pick up here. But then giving the command brings up this question, which I think locks the Claude code until it's answered in the terminal. So I guess this feature is not as easy to implement as I thought because of this requirement here. So yeah, that was a failure, but I guess I can say yes here and then change to fable slash status. So yeah, okay. What about this? About time. I start the card. So we get some events. It's delivered. We have a pull request. So let's look at the pull request. We have some changed files, HTML. Yeah. YOLO, let's merge it. Merge. And when we merge, it should start some build here to deploy the website, new version to GitHub pages. And the card was moved here. And let's see. Okay. Primeira letra, first letter. 3 letters, okay, so this is the difficulty level. Start.
Porta começa com qual letra?
Look at that. It's not.
Presta atenção no som. Boa, é a letra P.
Amazing.
Qual é a primeira letra de estrela?
What is the first letter of star? That's E, estrela.
Acertou. Estrela começa com E. Que letra vem primeiro em dado?
Dado. It's the amazing.
Boa. É a letra D.
Nailed it.
Avião começa com qual letra?
Right? So, yeah, we made 2 cards. One of them worked, but not as easy, right? What about the can I do a slash model here in Codex? I guess not. I guess it didn't implement slash model for Codex. Yeah, it only has for Cloud Code. And here doesn't work really as expected, right? So I'm not going to actually commit this to the project. How about this? Does this work? Model Sonnet. Let's look at the. Oh, this worked. How about slash model Opus? This worked as well. So kind of works, but yeah, I don't know. So this is what I had to show. And this, if this scratch and itch that you have, the repo is again here, bridge commander, right? README has all the instructions that you need. It has everything you saw here today. And go follow Kun Chen on YouTube and Twitter. I'm certainly am following him and learning from everything he posts. And yeah, all the links are going to be in the description. And if you try, find issues, tell me what's broken, tell me what's missing. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye.